Before I open up the hearing for the Barnstable Conservation Commissions, I would like to ask George to do a roll call for the quorum purpose.
Abadili is absent. Foster?
Present.
Gilmore present. Hearn?
Present.
Lee?
Present.
Moran is absent. Sampu?
Present.
Administrator Darcy Carley?
Present.
Staff member Kim Kavanaugh?
Present.
We have 5 commissioners present and we have a quorum, Mr. Chairman. Floor is yours.
Thank you. Acting under the provisions of Mass General Law, Chapter 131, Section 40, and or Chapter 237 of the Code of Town of Barnstable, the Barnstable Conservation Commission will hold a public hearing on Tuesday, November the 22nd, 2022 at 6:30 p.m. for the application of Harborview Hotel Investor LLC, Stephen Clements, Edward Crosby, and 190 Bridge Street LLC, John T. and Elizabeth N. Gainley. The hearing will be held remotely as televised on Channel 18. The plans and application are on file and may be reviewed by scheduling appointments by sending email requests to Darcy Curley at 230 South Street, Hyannis. This meeting is being recorded and transmitted by the Information Technology Department of the Town of Barnstable on Channel 18. Under Mass General Law, Chapter 38, Section 20, anyone else desiring to make such a recording or transmissions, please let Channel 18 or I know. Hearing none. This evening's hearing agenda is posted on the town's website. On the agenda, next to each application is the amount owed to the Town of Barnstable for the cost of advertisement. Please send your checks to Conservation Division at 230 South Street before the hearing. Remote participation. The Conservation Commission's public hearing will be held by remote participation as a result of an act extending certain COVID-19 measures adopted during the state of emergency, signed up by the Lieutenant Governor on July 16, 2022, suspending certain provisions of the open meeting law. Remote public access to this hearing shall be provided in the following manner. 1, the hearing will be televised via Channel 18. Second, real-time public comment can be addressed to the Conservation Commission utilizing the Zoom link 871-7377-2960 or use the toll-free phone number 888-475-4499 as shown on the agenda. Third, the public can also email the comment to darcy.curley@town.barnstable.ma.us at least 8 hours prior to the hearing. So tonight we're supposed to have a executive sessions, but this would be tabled. But I'm just going to read that into the record. The executive session for the purpose of discussing litigation strategy with respect to the pending appeal to the Department of Environmental Protection of Byers Willow, construction of wave brick and planting at 25 and 35 Cole Lane, Austerview, as shown on the Assessors Map 052, Parcel 009, and Map 053, Parcel 012002. This matter will be tabled to a later date. It may be in December the 6th. Tonight, we have 2 RDA. The first one is Harborview Hotel Investor, LLC, removal of existing outside stairs and installation of 382 square feet building additions with elevator and egress stairs at 213 Ocean Street, Hyannis, as shown on the Assessors Map 326, Parcel 035 CND at
Hello, good evening. For the record, Matthew Eddy, professional engineer with Baxter and I Engineering and Surveying, representing Harborview Hotel Investors, LLC. Hopefully this is fairly straightforward, I believe. We filed an RDA request there's an elevator being added to the Hyannis Harbor Hotel. It's the existing structure. You may recall about a year and a half or so ago, there was a fire that damaged part of the hotel. As part of the reconstruction of the hotel, which is really all interior work. They have to provide accessibility. So there is an elevator being added. I can share my screen if you need me to, but I think it's fairly straightforward. The elevator is being added to the rear of the building. It's going over an existing footprint where there's a current deck and stairs covered stairway, and then it's all pavement around it. If you're familiar with the hotel, it's in the the back parking lot when you go behind the building. So it's replacing fully.
Matt, can you show the drawing?
Yeah, I can share my screen if.
So the public can see it. I mean, yeah, we have a drawing, but the public.
So this is the existing conditions plan that you're looking at. Here's Ocean Street. The harbor is over here on the right-hand side to the east. This is the existing older hotel portion of Hyannis Harbor Hotel, I'll call it. This is the new tower that was added about 6 years or so ago, just to acclimate yourself. So you come in off of Ocean Street. Here's the access drive in, and then there's a large parking lot in the back of the existing hotel. The elevator is going to be added right here. This is an existing stairs and deck getting up to the main level of the hotel, and you can see this is all paved area around here. The only resource that we're talking about is floodplain. The flood elevation is 11, and the existing paved area is in the neighborhood of elevation 9. So you can see here's the footprint of the proposed addition. Removing again the deck and stairs. The pavement area in here will be removed, and it's actually going to be I'll say a slight reduction in impervious area because we're actually adding a small landscaped area here and here on either side of the elevator addition. And again, the elevator is being added as a code requirement on the rebuild. They just, for accessibility, they have to put the elevator in. So I believe that's about the extent of it. I'm happy to answer any questions anybody may have.
Thank you. Question from the commissioner. This project is the flood zone only.
Correct.
Seeing none. Channel 18, any public comment on this?
Seeing none.
None? Could I have a motion to approve this project as a negative determination?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Foster.
Luis, unmute yourself.
Oh, no, there's Louise. There we go.
I am, okay. Aye.
Gilmore, aye. Hearn,
Aye.
Lee,
Aye.
Sampu.
Aye.
That's unanimous.
Thank you. Good luck.
Thank you all. Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving. The second RDA is Stephen Clements, proposed septic design and site improvement, including removal and replacement of existing walkways and patios and removal of an existing greenhouse at 131 Country Club Drive, Barnstable, as shown in the Assessors Maps 350, parcel 038. Who is it? Dan?
Good evening, Danny Gonzalez, professional engineer with Down Cape Engineering, here on behalf of Stephen Clement and his project at 131 Country Club Drive. What we're doing here is pretty simple. We're redoing some patios, adding a little bit of additional patio area in the back, as well as a new septic system. There's an isolated vegetated wetland to the south. All work will be outside the 50-foot buffer to that wetland side from some small section of piping for the septic system. The work will result in a net decrease of 182 square feet of hardscape within the buffered zone. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
So one thing I just want to remind the commissioner is this is a septic replacement, and we are not making any determination on the bedroom counts because they changed it from 3 to 4. So, but that's a Board of Health jurisdiction, so I just want to point that out. Question from the commissioner. No one? Channel 18, any public comment on this?
Seeing none.
None? Could I have a motion to approve this project as a negative determination?
So
So
moved.
moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Sampu,
Aye.
Lee,
Aye.
Hearn,
Aye.
Foster,
Aye.
Gilmore, aye. That's unanimous.
Thank you. Good luck.
Thank you very much.
We have two NOI tonight. The first one is Edward Crosby and 190 Bridge Street LLC, proposed pool sheds driveway and 3-season room at 214 Bridge Street and 4 Windrush Lane at shown on the assessors map 093, parcel 024 and 072. John.
Good evening, John O'Day from Sullivan Engineering Consulting. I'm here tonight representing the applicant, Ned Crosby. I'll pull up the plan to walk you through it. The property at 190 Bridge Street is just after the Osterville Drawbridge. Our wetland resource here is flood zone. We are removed from the actual harbor by 2 properties and the roadway out to Oyster Harbors Marine. So we're some 350 feet probably to any actual wetland resource. There's an existing dwelling. There's a garage. It's not a garage. There was a garage. It's an addition being constructed now that was approved by this commission about a year ago under DA 21047. This notice of intent is for a pool and a patio area next to the dwelling, a couple of sheds along the patio area. Again, there used to be a garage here. It was removed for this addition living space. So, you know, sheds, one for pool stuff, one for kids' bike stuff, one for boat stuff, who knows, but you can always use some space, especially when you've lost the garage. And the other aspect of the project is to take the driveway and bring it, as an existing gravel drive around the back, bring it out towards Windrush Lane, and do some landscaping in this area. And again, we're not near any buffer zones, and we're not in an area that's subject to any wave action, and we don't anticipate there being any issues with the project. So with that, I think I'd be happy to answer any questions the commission might have.
Any question from the commissioner? No one? Channel 18, any public comment on this?
Seeing none.
None? Could I have a motion to approve this project as submitted?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Foster,
Aye.
Hearn,
Aye.
Lee,
Aye.
Sampool,
Aye.
Gilmore, aye. That's unanimous.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The second NOI of the evening is John T. and Elizabeth N. Gainley to replace the fixed pier T and with a ram and float at 251 Bay Lane, Centerville, as shown in the assessors map 166 parcel 057. John.
Good evening, John O'Day from Sullivan Engineering Consulting. Again, I'm here representing the Gainies for this property on Bay Lane, and I will bring up our plan. This is about an 1.5 acre parcel with a dwelling located on it. I don't know what's up on the screen. We did a renovation addition around 2019 under SE 35731. There's an existing fixed pier at the property. I think it had historically been there, but it was re-permitted in 2005. And our project as proposed is to remove the fixed T and replace it, which is shown in the dashed line on the plan, and replace it with a ramp and a small float. And this is a pier that is restricted to non-motorized crafts. And the applicants think that having a float will provide better access. And I think that it's this sort of float size is consistent with others in the area, and in general, a size the commission has approved on other non-motorized piers all around the harbors. I do not believe we're in an area that's significant shellfish habitat. Not shellfish serve a going 80 feet around us, found 2 shellfish. So I think it's a pretty straightforward project, and hopefully gets them improved access and use of the structure. And I'd be happy to answer any questions you might have.
Thank you. Before I open up for the commissioner, there's 2 comment letters. One is from Natural Resource. Is the overall, this area is mostly unsuitable habitat for cohorts and soft shell clams. The footprint of the pier is a very shallow area, so it will be important to have those flow stops, as mentioned in the NOI, so as to allow the adequate flow over the sediment in hopes one day the area will improve. At this time, Natural Resource does not have any objections to this project. We also received a letter from DMF dated November the 21st. Their recommendation is 1, grounded flows can disturb bottom sediments, resulting in turbidity and direct impacts to benthic habitat. To minimize the impact, DMF recommended a bottom of the proposed flow at least 2.5 feet above the substrate over the mapped shellfish habitat at mean low water. The flow as proposed does not maintain this minimum clearance at the mean low water. DMF recommend installing a flow stop to maintain 2.5 foot clearance above the substrate at mean low water. Second, any activity requiring a barge should be coordinated to avoid barge grounding or operations in shallow water, less than 2 feet below the motor skate and substrate, over mapped shellfish habitat. Third, DMF recommends that all staging and storage of construction equipment and material be located in the upland side of the project site. The fourth, fuel spills from refuel of the construction equipment will adversely impact sensitive resource area. Impacts to resource area can be avoided by prohibiting all land-based equipment from being refilled on site. If equipment is refilled on site, adequate containment and cleaner materials should be required to minimize the impacts. That's all the comments. Question from the commissioner? None?
Oh, I had a question.
Yeah, that's
yeah, I thought, John, I sent you or Chuck an email, but
you did, and I'm happy to respond to that.
Okay.
So the existing pier is supported on 4x4 posts, and so that will remain. And in this area, you know, being underneath the bridge, and in our discussions with contractors, there really isn't a good option for anything other than using 4x4 posts. So that will be the intent for the float. I think it would there would probably be 4 of them, 2 on each end, and we're happy to include float stops on those. I think that, you know, we're in a pretty protected area, so it seems to work at the other piers up in this bay. Just looking to see whether or not we did have a note on the profile of the pier. We did show actually the posts on the profile of the pier. We didn't label the size, but we could certainly add that. And we did note for float stops to provide 12 inches of clearance, which I think is the commission standard, and especially where this isn't any shellfish resource. We hope that would be acceptable.
so basically you will be providing a revised plan showing the dimension of the piles and the location of them.
Would be happy to do that. Yes.
Yeah.
So is this does the pier remain? Is it all seasonal, or would the existing pier stay, and you're going to be storing the ramp and the float on the existing pier?
So the portion of the pier, basically the pier over the marsh is all fiberglass grating, so that does stay in all year, you know, above the mean load. The ramp and the float, at least the float would be transported away for the winter. I don't know whether they would typically slide the ramp up onto the pier or whether they take it with the float, but still this whole kind of end section basically gets seasonally taken away. Yes.
Right.
All right. Yeah, thanks. And yeah, if you can just, we base this on a revised plan with noting the size of the posts.
Not a problem.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Pete?
There, now I got it unmuted. So I actually just want to visit. I know it's been our practice to have 12-inch stops under for very low valued shellfish areas. What was the reason given for the state's recommendation of 2.5 feet? I'd be interested in hearing about, you know, what's the science behind it, or the recommendation, or where'd that, you know, help me with that.
If I remember right, you know, usually DMF would recommend at 2.5 feet, and in this locations, the shellfish habitat is not that valuable at this point. So, you know, I think 12-inch is enough.
Okay, so the state is not aware of our shellfish rating. Is that the reason for it?
I would assume so, yes.
Okay, that makes sense. Thank you.
Okay. Louise?
This is a situation I'm sure has come up many times before, but it just occurred to me. When that float and ramp are stored for winter, how does that happen? I'm looking at the shallow conditions around that pier, and for example, in other areas where there's more depth, the people who are handling the storage of those elements just come in with a small barge or a boat maybe and tow the materials away. Is that what happens here in such a shallow area, or are they?
I can answer that if you like, Louise.
Oh, yes, I'd love that.
Yeah, yes. In a shallow area like this, we would always go in on the higher tides with a small outboard boat. The ramp is disconnected from the dock by hand. It's moved onto the float. The 4x4 posts that support the float are removed, and they're taken away with the float also. So it all goes by water, and it's all usually done at high tide.
Probably towed over to the bay, towed over to the
town
landing at Ladd Road there, and put on trailers and taken time.
Yep.
Okay, thanks.
Thanks, George. Any other question from the commissioner? None. Channel 18, any public comment on this?
Seeing none.
None. Could I have a motion to approve this project subject to the receipt of a revised plan showing the dimension of the pile and their locations?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Foster.
Aye.
Gilmore, aye. Hearn.
Aye.
Lee.
Aye.
Sampu.
Aye.
That's unanimous.
Thank you. Good luck, John.
Everybody.
We have one continuance. Washington's SGG Nominated Trust proposed improvements to include a pool house, tennis court, and driveway at 242 Washington Avenue, map 138, parcel 030, 25 East Avenue, map 139, parcel 080, and 45 East Avenue, Austinville, map 139, parcel 079. This is a continuance from November the 1st. We are waiting for the issuance of the DEP number, and DEP has issued a number of SE3-6045, and DEP did not have any comment on these projects. So could I have a motion to close the public hearings and authorize the staff to issue the altered conditions for these applications?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Foster.
Aye.
Sampu.
Aye.
Lee.
Aye.
Hearn.
Aye.
Gilmore, aye. That's unanimous.
Thank you. We have 5 EC certificate of compliance. Peter Rayco, SE3-1887. William E. Cole, SE3-5999. John Kilroy, SE3-5826, Corey Guercio, SE3-5614, Stacy Albert, SE3-5537. Put a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Foster,
Aye.
Hearn,
Aye.
Lee,
Aye.
Sampool,
Aye.
Gilmore, aye. That's unanimous.
We have two sets of minutes, October the 25th and November the 8th.
I make a motion, Mr. Chairman, we accept the minutes as submitted.
Second.
Roll call.
Foster,
Aye.
Gilmore, aye. Hearn,
Aye.
Lee,
Aye.
Sampool.
Aye.
That's unanimous.
Our next hearing is December the 6th. And could I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Sampool,
Aye.
Lee,
Aye.
Hearn,
Aye.
Foster,
Aye.
Gilmore, aye. That's unanimous. We are adjourned at 6:56.